joining us again on the Blurry Lines of the Brainwashed, episode number 3. Do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want me to lie to you? If you want the truth, let's continue to go forward. And our topic for today is to forget or to not to forget. Yes, I understand today is February, and yes, we are going to be talking about slavery today. A person told me that African Americans need to get over slavery. What exactly does that mean? Get over slavery. So my whole point about that is the whole entire Southeast region made a lot of money. I'm talking about South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, all these southern states. So we cannot forget the money factor of slavery. We had a 3/5 law that was incorporated by the Constitution. The whole slavery system in a whole was was a national system that touched the very core of its economics and political life. Like slaves, you were able to use that for value of estates. Like there was a source of tax revenue. Taxes was levied on slave transactions. So it baffles me how people say forget slavery. I'm dumbfounded by this issue. Then the whole thing, and then the downfall from it, the social, economic, legal system, all of them promote all types of atrocities. You got families torn apart, the constant threat of separation. Like there's no coming back from that. A person can't come back mentally from jail, war, like Iraq, Afghanistan, divorce, death. Like you can't come back from this stuff. To dominate an entire culture, there was nothing sacred about the Africans that were forced to come to America. Like there's no coming back from that. All the enslaved desires, personal integrity, the impulse to create, maintain family life, build a part of to be a part of a community, express spirituality, all this was just ripped, gone from all the people that came from the Western Africa. Like most people in West Africa, they got this whole dynamic vibe, expressive cultures, like this whole language that was, even with their language, is animated. You got little sprinkles of proverbs, and you got this whole moral and ethical thing going on. And then the communication was key to West Africans. Key, like storytelling, music, complex. And then you got the whole rhythmic section. Like all of this stuff, huge. And so that's what baffles me by the European standards, that the African Americans are loud and use their hands a lot and real dramatic and have all these different gestures. I wonder where we got that from. It's just, it's ridiculous. Even if you go back to the whole Middle Passage. On the Middle Passage, they use dance as a form of exercise. Like Zumba? That's crazy. And then you got the slave captains that was on the slave ships. They felt dancing rose spirits, made the slaves feel alive, and was able to reduce all the pain and the suffering and the longing to be with one's family. And it just so happens that African Americans, love to dance and they love music. Imagine that. Settlers in the New World, we call today America, wanted to get away from Europe. And they were mostly serfs and lower class who sold everything they owned just to pay for the boat ride to this new world that we call to America. So once again, I'm back to, it baffles me that people say phrases like, go back to Africa. It's just like African Americans started America. It was the backs of slaves that actually built America. It is like the whole purpose since then has been to stop an uprise. You got Gabriel from the 1800s. You got Atticus, the Haitian Revolution, Nat Turner in 1831, Bobby Seale and Hugh P. Newton. If you don't know who those people are, you can always Google them. And that's always been the biggest fear. That's the reason why black people, that's the reason why slavery is important. Because we got to get to the root. The people that's in power, their biggest fear is to lose that power. to actually undergo what is actually that they're inherently infuriated by blacks. That is why the codes were strengthened, called the Jim Crow laws, and all this other stuff that's going on. And if you take the whole concept of slavery, you want the person to be dependent on their master. A system of restricted codes. You want to prohibit learning, reading, and writing. You want to restrict a person's behavior, their movement. You want to reward people with obedience. And then you want to brutally punish the rebellious. Like, you got to have a strict hierarchy. You got to keep everybody divided. And that's the whole reason why blacks have been going back and forth with this whole light skin this, dark skin this, light skin supposed to be good, black skin supposed to be bad. It's like, that makes zero sense. All this started from slavery. So for you to sit there and say slavery's not important, it's retarded to say something like that. Because me personally, this is my personal belief, that people in power, they're not moved by people like Frederick Douglass, Harry Beecher Stowe, Martin Luther King Jr., Barack Obama. The reason why is because all of them weren't doing what the people are afraid of, that I was mentioning earlier. They're afraid, the people in power are afraid of rebellion. It's like we're going on, and everybody would say, forget slavery this, forget slavery that, it's not important, that happened 400 years ago. But yet, you don't want us to ever forget the Pearl Harbor, the Boston Massacre, the Holocaust, 9/11, Stonewall Inn, the Confederate flag. Come on now. To forget slavery will be to surrender all property, money, and land and self over to the people who used to be slaves. Forgetting slavery will be to forget America. We must always remember slavery to prevent the cycle of envy, hate, and greed. That was actually the greed by our founding fathers, actually, to be honest with you. But let's remember the beginning of the New World and who helped build this great country. And the main reason why I had to do this section today, not just because it's February, but because my son came home and he said that while he was at school, he wanted to ask if it was okay if he talked to his teacher about why do they only talk about negative stuff about blacks in school. Now, to be honest with you, I had many answers to that, but he's not old enough to go through all of that right now. But my wife and I did say that, yeah, sure, ask your teacher, see what she says, and come back to us. So he's gonna ask her on Monday, and he's gonna let us know what she says. But the main reason, it just seems all hope is just sucked out of the schools with the empowerment of African Americans. So I say we need to remember the Underground Railroad, the Tuskegee Airmen, Black Wall Street, the Million Man March, Emmett Till. So then yesterday's pains won't become today's pains. And that is all. So please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.